Why, that's because it runs to the town of Corin, Garrett. Good evening, everybody. Welcome into the stream. Happy to see so many familiar faces out there. Oh, the Corning primary, yeah. Why isn't it called the Corning primary, Garrett? That's a great question. Oh, it's good to be back. It's been a couple of weeks since my last Talkin Trains stream, what with the Sydney Fremo meet, and then last week just wanting the night off. Had a so-called dry week last week. I didn't do any modeling at all. The only thing I did was come down and get the layout kind of cleaned up for a visit from a few individuals. Ray was here, Mr. C says was here, and Ed O'Connell and Rick Rubino were here as well. Brian Williams. Had a nice little Tuesday visit to the layout for a handful of people, which was fun. So had a blast doing that, hosting that, and that was all for my modeling last week. Hey, Rick. Let's see who's out there all together. So it looks like we got Scott in here, Garrett, Tom, Ray, Brandon. Happy to see all of you. Glad you're here. We have a super fun project to get started with tonight. We are finally starting in on the final locomotive that I need for the Finger Lakes roster. That's going to be number 1703. In order to do this particular locomotive, I actually have to combine two different Walthers locomotives in order to get it done. We've got a low short hood CP unit here, which I need to take the cab and the nose from. And then we've got a phase 3 high hood here that's an old Proto 2000, and we'll be using that for the long hood section, and I think we're also going to use the sill as well. Just because the nice big package of detailed parts that comes with it is ready to rock on that, and then the stuff that's on the Walthers mainline unit not quite as nice. So yeah, so why don't we get started? I think the first thing I really need to do is get the shell off the Walthers Proto, or the Walthers mainline model here, so we'll start with that. So I think, Tim, and then I could be wrong here, but Tim, I think it's technically a secondary to the CSX main, or what is now the CSX main, because that was a New York Central property, but I don't know. So I'm already somewhat encouraged because it seems like the tooling is very similar, like Walthers did not change much from these Protos. From the Proto 2000 tooling, excuse me. Should probably find a nice safe container to store those in. This should work. I always keep all of my spare Ziploc bags for reasons like this, just to be safe. Hey Matt, welcome into the stream. Happy to have you. Emmett, welcome to you as well. Glad to have you both. Let me get you guys a little bit more zoomed in here. Probably can do with a little bit of zoom here. Hopefully that's good. Perfect. All right. John, welcome in. Tim, I didn't say welcome in, but welcome. Yeah, right, Tim. They, I forget what they called it, but it definitely wasn't the Corning secondary. You're definitely right there. Fallbrook line, I think is what it was. Maybe? Yeah, Fallbrook, I believe. Okay, so now the mystery begins as to how this comes off. I should have, oh, there's tabs. I see tabs. Yeah, I don't think this has got tabs too, so this is really encouraging. I don't think that they changed this tooling much at all. I think this fuel tank's got to come off though too. BN Ironwood, welcome into you. John, my friend, happy to see you. That would make sense, Garrett. That would certainly make sense. I was nervous that there was going to be some sort of small tooling change. I'm still a little nervous about it. So hopefully there's no issues. Ooh, is that 2 more? Holy cow. They do not want this going anywhere. There's 2 more screws in here. Actually, I think I might be a little too far zoomed in here because I keep taking things out of frame on you guys. Yeah, they really want to make sure that this thing stays in place. Okay, so that's interesting. These 2 screws that I'm taking out now, I don't see on this locomotive at all. They also were not put in there squarely, so they're definitely cross-threaded. Okay. Oh. Interesting. We have now accidentally... We took something off we shouldn't have. Whoops. Oh dear. Now we've gone and done it. All right. I've got to put 2 screws back in. Always fun learning about a new locomotive. Let's see. Which ones am I looking for here? I think this shorter one? Yeah. Thanks, Garrett. Thanks for letting me know. Leave those in. I don't think that's the right one. Maybe it was. Now it wants to come out. Oh, so what else is new here? What's everybody else got on their workbench? Let's get caught up here. It's been a couple weeks since we've streamed, so we'd love to have a good chat with everybody and get caught up. Got a couple things I was thinking it'd be fun to talk about tonight, so we can do that for sure. Okay. Okay, so that's all nice and secured now. Well, let's just, for funsies, see if this is going to fit like this. I think I'm planning on using the Proto 2000 drivetrain for it anyway, but I was just curious to see if that was going to fit, and it doesn't quite, I don't think. One thing that's cool about this Proto cab, though, which I was really impressed with, it's actually got functioning doors on it. So you can model it with the door open, which is pretty cool. Yeah, Garrett, that was cool. I saw your maps that you had designed there. It was those were pretty cool. So Emmett, this one's not for the freelance. This is for the Finger Lakes. This is the final locomotive that I need to do for the Finger Lakes, which will be Finger Lakes 1703, which was the last of the GP9s that were operational in my time frame. They still have 1702 on property as of today, in addition to 03, which I think they're pretty much just kind of using as a parts engine. Oh, that's annoying. It looks like they actually used glue on this particular shell, which is a bit of a bummer, but oh well. Have to figure out how to get that off without busting anything. It does look like they changed the tooling on the nose a little bit. The prongs are slightly different. I don't know if you guys will be able to see this or not, but you can see that the prongs on the nose are slightly different, but I don't know that it's gonna matter. I think this should still work, hopefully. Okay. I don't love that they glued this on. Hopefully I can get it all to pop out without it being much of a problem, though. So Matt's working on weather and track. That's pretty cool. Tom's working on a grain complex. That's cool. Emmett, I've seen your updates there in Dennis's server about the conversion to HO, which is pretty cool. Scott's finishing up the locomotive shop. That's exciting, Scott. I can't wait to see the finished product. I've seen, obviously, your progress on it, which has been great. I think I better just pull these handrails all the way off. Got a couple other detail parts left to order for this thing. Not sure when I'll do that, but hopefully I'll be able to do that soon. Tim's working on the barn. That's a good thing, Tim. Always plenty to do there. There we go. I got that side to pop loose. Let's see if I can get this side too. Come on. That side's really stuck in there. There we go. Come on. Just trying to slowly work this thing free so that I don't bust anything. Yeah, Garrett, I need to work on my map as well. I had a basic one done on my Google Maps, but hadn't gotten any further than that with it. So I'd like to get something like that drawn up relatively soon so that I can work on a full-on video for my freelance, which should be fun. else am I getting held on by? I don't think anything now. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, this tooling is... This is a relief that it's this close. I think this is gonna work out well. Okay, there we go. Finally got that cab off. And then here comes the nose. Okay, so here's the moment of truth, is if this goes on this chassis cleanly. And we know we are ready to rock. This is awesome. Okay. Just need this nose piece, which is the actual only noticeable tooling difference that I see. Oh, look at that, guys. We are in business here. That is awesome. Okay. So you can kind of now start to get an idea of what this is going to look like when we're done with it. There's still, like I said, a ton of work to do with this, but it's looking good. I think, what do I want to do with the rest of these parts? I think I'm going to just, hopefully, should be able to just kind of just use the cab and nose section from that. And then this set of parts, the high hood and the high, or the cab for it, these are going to end up being a freelance locomotive with the Canadian Pacific shell. So that'll be a high hood GP9 ready to go for the freelance when I've got time to work on that project. I've got one other freelance locomotive on the pending work shelf. Ooh, I should show that to you guys because I opened it off camera, but it's been a little while since I got it. Sorry, I'm trying to focus on getting this on here without wrecking anything. Okay, look at that. That's a good fit as well. Handrails slide right in. So that's great. And we'll have a high hood GP9 that still needs to get stripped, but anyway, let me get these parts put away. Gonna need to expand the layout? Yeah. I wish, Tim, I wish. Someday, maybe. Someday. All right, so I need to go get a bin to put, ooh, that's not good. I should make sure I get these screws put someplace safe. Hey, Montana Northern, welcome in. Don, welcome in. To you as well. You might actually learn how Inkscape works. Yeah, I feel you there, Garrett. Let's see, do I want to just put this fuel tank back on, or should I put it in the spare parts? I should put it in the spare parts. Okay, so here's a slight difference in the tooling. I'll have to look into this a little bit more, but you can see that the two steps are kind of crammed together right here. So I might have to address that. How does it look on this model? It does seem as though we're missing a step there. I'll have to see what I can do about that. wonder if it's as simple as, no, that's molded in. We'll have to figure that out. Not a big deal necessarily. Hopefully we can make it work. Should have all the parts I need in here. Okay, I am just going to get these handrails back on so that I don't lose them. And actually, what I may need to do here is pop this back off, because it's definitely not sitting on there right. I think this step needs to come out. It is actually separately applied, so that's good. Let's see. I think I might be able to just pop it out with a set of tweezers. Yep, there we go. Okay, so I will put this cab back on now. I wondered, did I have it on there backwards? Is that all that was? I bet you it was. No, I didn't. Never mind. But yeah, with that out of there, this cab should now sit in there properly, which will be good. Oop. Ooh. Don't want to bend things. Why aren't you sitting down in there properly now? That's weird. Guessing these steps are what's getting in the way. Oh, that works. Still have this weird gap right here I can't figure out. I'm not sure. Kato Unitrack to MDF? That doesn't sound like a very Corning secondary question to me there, Ray. Just saying. There we go, something just snapped into place. Cool, so this will be pretty much ready to go for paint at some point. I may just strip this down at the same time as the cab and the nose just to save on isopropyl. And it looks like the grab irons, or the handrails are still going to be the same as well, which is great. This is just about perfect. Need that to be a little bit of a gap here for some reason. I may need to file down some of the glue. Yeah, I bet you that's what the issue is there. But that's a problem for a different day. We are focused on the Finger Lakes unit tonight, not the future freelance GP9. Just trying to get everything put back together well enough that I don't lose detail parts when I put this in the pending projects bin. Maybe. Maybe not. All right, so that's good enough for now on that one. Chassis wise, this is gonna go right back on this shell, so we can kind of just consolidate those back together. Did I put that on? Yep, I did. I wonder if I'm gonna, yeah, that is the right direction. I don't see any reason why this is getting held up, but it's definitely holding up. There we go. Maybe. There we go. Okay, let me go get a bin to put this in, and then I've also got a fun thing to show you guys as well. Ooh, I don't have an empty bin right now. I thought I cleared out a bunch of those. I do. There we go. So when I paint the Finger Lakes unit, I think I'm going to prime a bunch of locomotives at the same time, because check this out. This is another locomotive for the Freelance. This is going to be the first of two SD40-2s that are CNW spec that we will have bought from Dennis Colucci's Balfour, Colucci Creek and Southern in a trade. You might have seen a short come out on his channel today. And had some fun going back and forth, him and I. He sent me a very awesome gondola, which I've got sitting over here, and I made a short about that you guys would have seen last week. But he sent me this gondola, and he intentionally put just a couple of extra unnecessary packing peanuts in there, just because he knows I can't stand packing peanuts from when I do unboxings on my live streams. So he put those in there intentionally, and I couldn't let a good deed go unpunished. So I responded back to him, sent him part of the trade deal that our two Freelances came up with. I sent him an undecorated Alco C424 shell that I had just laying around here that I wasn't going to end up using. So I sent that to him, but I sent it wrapped in, probably, I would say probably 20 layers of bubble wrap with a note that said "Viva la bubble wrap" in it. So that short is up on his channel if you guys want to go see it. I think it's worth the watch. We had some fun with it for sure. So okay, let me get caught up on the chat here. Let's see. Wood glue seems like it would probably work for you, Ray. Hey Adam, welcome in. Glad to see you're here. Glad you made it. Okay, so one of the fun things that we need to do to make this look more like Finger Lakes 1703 is that 1703 has the fan that was on the dynamic brake hatch blanked out. And actually on top of it there is a beacon, which is kind of fun. But for tonight, I'm just going to do the blank out plate. I've got a piece of super thin styrene over here, and my plan is, because this is so thin, thankfully, I should be able to actually just use a pair of scissors to cut it out so that I can actually get something that resembles a circle. Somebody could make a whole cinematic universe out of this. Yeah, wouldn't that be something, Garrett? Wouldn't that be something? Okay, so all I need to do for right now is liberate one of these fans from this package without making a mess of everything else that's in there, which is no small feat. Glad you enjoyed the short there, Scott. Now, where do you suppose my X-Acto ran off to? Because it's not in the bin. Well, I got scissors. Dennis, you have just the most unbelievable knack to know when you're being talked about and popping into the stream. Crazy. Well, I don't know where that X-Acto ran off to, but we're going to need to find it here soon. So other fun news you may have seen today. Joey B from Late Night Hobbies, myself, and John Farrington have been working on a really fun freelance project. We're calling it the Shortline and Regional Carriers of America. And it's kind of just one big way to tie freelancers together, just like the graffiti thing, just like the tagger thing, but this one a little bit more formal for those that, you know, may feel graffiti's a little too divisive. But basically it's going to be a rail car pooling organization that does a whole lot more too. There's more to be found about that on the Facebook page. Abbreviation is SRCA, and so we've been affectionately referring to it as Circa, which has been fun. I don't think this is going to work out very well for my challenge here. I think what I might be better off doing is tracing right from the opening here, which hopefully you guys can see. But yeah, there's plenty more on the Facebook page for Circa. If one of the moderators maybe could go grab the link to the Circa Facebook page, that would be really cool, so that we can post that up here and make sure that anybody interested can get a link. But the way it's going to work is, you know, it would be a membership organization where rail cars are pulled together. There's a higher set of standards in place for these freight cars, and in turn, Class 1s give you a little bit of a break on the shipping rates, and there's a bunch of other benefits there too. But go check out the Facebook page, and you'll be able to learn a lot more about it there. The cool part about it is going to be that there's a special little decal to go on all of the Circa certified rolling stock that your freelance may own. So there's some cool benefit, some cool way to tie freelances together. These scissors are not nearly sharp enough to be cutting this. I had another set of scissors out here somewhere. But there's also going to be a set of locomotive decals as well, which we will be showing off as soon as we get them in. I was hoping Dennis finally beat Garrett to something. Wow, what a day, what a time to be alive. I was hoping I would have those decals for this stream, but unfortunately they are still in Atlanta, which is a long ways away. So the struggle with this is now going to be that I actually need it to be technically slightly wider than the drawing I traced. And eyeballing that out could be a bit of a struggle. Already had the post up on the homepage. Perfect. Yeah, we've been pretty excited about the amount of interest that Circa has garnered today since I made the first Facebook post. And I might have already messed this up. I might need to try again. Yeah, so far the page is already up to 50 likes, which is kind of crazy. Pretty awesome. Let's see. If I round that out, is it going to end up being too small? I think that's going to end up being too small. We can try it though. I've been talking with Dennis about this too, and I seem to have peer pressured him into a 2005 era version of the B and CCS for a side project, not his main layout. Somewhat solely for the idea of being able to join Circa, but also to kind of set his freelance in a time period where it would be in the same era as mine, which would be fun. You know, just as a side project, obviously. He's got his 80s era, right? 80s era, Dennis? Or do I just assume that and I shouldn't? I don't know how this is going to work out, guys. I need this to be a circle. And it's not looking like a circle right now. Yeah, Garrett, I'm looking forward to Arco being a member. You're going to be probably our most futuristic member, being that you've set your freelance slightly into the future, which will be pretty cool. Yeah, that's the other big part of it too, Dennis, right? Is forcing you to come up to HO scale. Yep, that's certainly a possibility for sure, Brandon, on an SD40 that's falling apart. The Circa decal will be on my XB and CCS SD40-2s, which are going to be in rougher paint condition. I don't know how this is going to work, guys. Does anybody else have like a suggestion for how to cut out a better looking circle for this radiator cap blanking? I guess what I might be able to do is if I can find like a cap or something that's the right size, I might be able to get that and just use it as a template for the X-Acto and cut through in one fall swoop with the X-Acto. The problem is I need to find the X-Acto first. I should really have stock in X-Actos is what I should do so that this situation doesn't arise, because I've you know, as much as I thought I was prepared for tonight, turns out I'm actually not, because the X-Acto's gone missing. And I'm sure as soon as I walk back over to the computer, there's going to be some sort of comment that it's hiding with the square. So here's the square. It's not with that. Really don't know where the heck this thing ran off to. roughly cut the shape a little big, glue it to a dowel. Okay. I could try that, Dennis. I don't know, do I have any dowel around? I might. Just got to make sure that I use some sort of glue that'll come off easy. I've got some Mod Podge I could use. Let's see. I know I've got dowel around here somewhere. Here we go. These are way too big though. There's a little piece of dowel that I can scavenge. And then I gotta find my drill as well. Well, I suppose I could worry about getting it glued to the piece of dowel before I get the drill out, but already halfway there. And in my adventures, I'm still yet to find the X-Acto. So I'm not sure where that went. I may or may not be a rubber scaler now myself. There may or may not be more info to come on that in the beginning of September. It's kind of the worst kept secret in the world, but yeah, there's some end scale in my future for sure. Okay, let's see. I need to redo this, ensuring that it ends up being slightly larger. How rough do you think I can get away with, Dennis? This is such thin styrene that I'm a little bit nervous about that. Maybe I gotta go up in styrene thickness just to do this, but I don't know. Okay, so there's that. Kind of want to see if I can get away with doing this with super glue, just so I don't have to wait forever for it to dry. An octagon I should be able to get away with. Okay, that's good. All right, now what do I do with the dowel? Oh boy. The dowel seems to be gone. What have I done? Where did the dowel go? Sorry, guys. Put a cage around the octagon, yeah. All right. Where in the world did it go? Do I have to go get another piece here? I think I gotta go get another piece. I don't want to keep you guys waiting. Actually, I might see if I can get away with using my Dremel rather than the drill, because I feel like I can get a little bit more refined control with it. But let me first just see if I can get this dowel secured down. Hopefully squarely. Side here. Yeah, there's a Bermuda triangle next to everybody's workbench, Scott. I don't know if you've maybe had the joy of experiencing that yet, but yeah. There's definitely a Bermuda triangle next to my workbench. And currently, my X-Acto knife and that first piece of dowel is surely within that Bermuda triangle. Crazy stuff. I don't know how I manage this. I should just buy stock in X-Acto knives so that when one goes missing, there's still two other ones to be found. I used to have two, actually. I don't know what happened to the second one, but all the time, yeah. Okay, so other things that we can do, I want to make sure that this is very well glued on there first. So I'm just going to let that dry over there for a minute. In the meantime, though, I can start to get stuff like the, lift rings put on, and then actually I do also need to remove the cab glass so that this thing is ready to strip. I might as well do that while I'm waiting as well. See how easily this is going to come out. One thing I do appreciate about Walthers and Proto 2000, sometimes it's really okay to not have a separately applied detail, and stuff like these windshield wipers. I'm perfectly fine with those being molded on because they are a pain to put on an actual model. So if they want to mold those on for me, I'll take it. I'll take that detail being molded and be happy with the model. This is yet another situation where I would love to have my X-Acto knife. I'm sure I'll find it as soon as the stream's over. I'm trying to think of where I had it last that I don't have it here, strangely. I wonder if I might want to just mask these, though. I don't know. Wow, 30 cents a blade for a 100 pack. That's crazy. Yeah, these windows are pretty well in there, so maybe I'm just gonna leave them in there, and I'll have to do a good job of masking these off exactly around the gaskets when I do the paint work, because they don't seem to want to come off too easily. But yeah, with that in mind, there is other things that need to happen still, one of which is the class lights on the nose need to be removed. So I can do that while I'm waiting for that piece to dry. And then the other thing that needs to happen eventually is the lift rings need to come out, or need to get installed prior to paint. So we can work on that as well at some point. Trying to decide what the best course of action is going to be for these class lights. It looks like this little piece of high grit automotive sandpaper that I like to use for this sort of thing is going to work well for this. Just got to be careful not to attack the edges that I want to keep on this. I may actually want to just go to a file, I think. Zoom you guys back in here. Oh yeah, Dennis, that'll be exactly what happens. So I'll turn off the stream and then poof, there it'll be. So after me tonight, not that we're anywhere near shutting down for the night, but after me tonight, you'll have a couple of great options to choose from for entertainment. Dennis has a video coming out at 9 p.m., which should be exciting for any end scalers out there. He's got a review sample of the N Possible couplers that he's been excited about. I'm excited to watch that video. And then the second section guys have also decided that they're moving to Monday nights, which that's part of the reason I moved my stream up to 7. I do enjoy the second section live streams, so at this point now I'll only have a half hour overlapping with them. I did talk to Andy about it just to get an idea of if I needed to move things around long term, and you know, what Dennis and I should do, because their streams would overlap quite heavily with Dennis's time slot. And to be clear, both Dennis and I are very reasonable individuals. We do not expect that the entire YouTube modeling community should leave Monday nights to just us. In fact, we've been sharing the air on Monday nights with the Sidetracked guys for quite some time. So it sounds like it's a relatively temporary change for second section while they've got some other scheduling challenges going on. But Dennis and I have already started getting the ball rolling on some really fun new changes to how we're going to stream moving forward. We'll see what sort of time frame it's going to take us to implement those changes, but there's some fun stuff ahead for both of us, so you can be on the lookout for that in the future. And of course, a little later in the chat tonight regarding Dennis's video, Garrett can beat Dennis to posting his own video link again, I'm sure, as we wind down. We're going to about 8:30 tonight is the plan. Started a half hour earlier than normal, and then we'll go to about 8:30. Right, Garrett. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going to happen, though. I know I had some initial talks with Andy about getting on the Second Section podcast. They had asked if I wanted to go on when Mike used the Finger Lakes as the short line of the show. Summer-wise, the schedules just did not line up at all. So we'll see if it's still a possibility sometime this fall. Kind of just waiting for them to let me know. Trying not to be, I try not to impose on other creators. So same goes for them. Waiting till they let me know they're looking for somebody for a particular night, I suppose. Heath was 4 times a week. Wow, that's crazy. Slowly but surely working these class light housings down. Then I'll take out some higher grit sandpaper and get it all nice and smoothed out. Next week, Britt? I don't think so. Next week, I don't think I'm going to be available to stream. Next stream will likely be on Labor Day, I believe. And then once we're through Labor Day, I think streams should be a little bit more regular. Just got, fun things planned for Labor Day itself, or Labor Day week itself. And then we should be able to get a little bit more regular. Got a little bit of traveling to do in the month of September, but I don't think it's going to stop me from streaming, but we'll see. Where do you send your request for a streaming slot? I don't know. The Wizard of Oz? He might be the one. Like I said, the big thing to me, I think the more options we have as modelers, the better for streaming. I know Wednesday nights, other than Heath at 9 p.m. Eastern, are open. So like an 8 p.m. or a 7 p.m. show on a Wednesday would probably be a great slot for somebody. Tuesdays, I know, Ray, you've got your OC chat, but there's really not anything on Tuesdays either. Problem for me is Tuesdays are not a great day for me, and then I want to make sure that I stay on the same night as Dennis. And I think Wednesdays Heath's already got the 9 p.m. slot, but like I said, I do also understand that it's kind of unreasonable to expect to be the only show in town on a given evening, which is perfectly fine. Yeah, we'll see if he's live this week, Adam. I have a feeling based on his cameo in Eminem Rails video, his video, that Heath's feeling a little better. I don't know if any of you caught the Eminem Rails layout update today, but Heath's got an interesting cameo. Let's just say the bright lights of Broadway maybe calling Heath. More than they should be. All right, I need to get my high grit stuff out, otherwise I'm going to start modifying the structure of this nose past the point of no return. I don't want to be doing that. Some 600 grit, that'll probably work. If he skips 3 in a row. Yeah, Heath's cameo is quite interesting in that video, we'll put it that way. I'm a newer subscriber to Eminem, so I don't know if Heath has made appearances on that channel at all before, but it's interesting. I am having trouble getting this down to be flush without taking away material I don't want to take away. Used to be an On Track Tuesday. Well, I know there's a Thursday night crowd in Canada now. That kind of rotates. Sorry guys, I didn't realize I had gone out of frame there. Like I always say, if I go out of frame, you got every right to yell at me. Okay, I think I've got all of the class light material pretty well taken care of now. It's just a matter of getting everything smoothed out enough to look good once it's painted. Shouldn't be too worried about the paint itself getting ruined because it's going to get stripped off there anyway. Pretty happy with that side. I'm trying to be really careful of this because it feels like it's going to be really easy to break these steps off, and I don't want to do that. Oh man, hopefully not too soon there, Brandon. With hockey comes winter. I enjoy summer. This year I was way too busy with modeling stuff. I usually try to, take a break from modeling during the summer. But pushing to get the Fremo modules ready for Sydney was definitely a time constraint for me this year. Next year, thankfully now, I'll just be able to roll into Sydney with completed modules, so I won't have to worry about that. Whatever I get done, I'll get done, So that's good. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. I just gotta bump up the higher grit. Well, I'm glad we can accommodate you there too, Scott. That's enjoy having you in the chat for sure. Oh no, not a paint mishap. That stinks, Adam. Okay, I just need, what have I got here? That's 2,000. I probably want to go up to like 1,000 first and then 2,000. That's 2 more 600. Just going through my sheets here. 4,000. I don't want to go from 600 to 4,000. Come on, where's my? I gotta have like 1,000 in here. No. Wow. Okay, I guess I'm going straight to 2,000 from 6,000. Second section's whole show is about cleaning a desk. Yeah. Garrett, you should make sure you watch that, since you just did that. Something interesting I'm just noticing myself. I always try to keep my the chat up on my phone just so I know when you guys are experiencing an ad, so that I try to not say anything too important when you guys get ads. But seems like there's ads coming up over top of the live chat now. That's a little annoying. Garrett, the second section guys are having a whole show about having a clean workbench. So I think you gotta tune in. Okay. I think I'm pretty happy with this, results-wise. So I'm gonna set that off to the side and say it's ready to get stripped, as is the cab there. Make sure I put my sandpaper back where it belongs so that I'm not searching for that like I am my X-Acto blade. And then let's try, see, it lasted about 20 hours. Oh, so we're already past the clean workbench. Great, Garrett. Oh, I hope this dowel is skinny enough to actually fit in the, yes, okay. All right. I know I probably don't well, probably won't make a difference, but just out of an abundance of caution, I am going to put my safety glasses on for this, just because it is a potential flying object. And then I'm just going to find a piece of that 600 grit I just had out. Hopefully that'll work for this. All 20 projects at once, yep. I get it, Garrett. All right, here we go. Let's see how this goes. Uh-oh. Let's see where we're at now. I might need to go to a higher grit. Yep, I think I'm going to go to a 320 grit here. I've got some 320 in here. Where is it? Well, that's definitely more than 320, but let's just give it a try and see what happens. That I'm seeing much of a result. Let's see, I think I've got something a little bit higher grit. Yeah, lower grit, Adam. Thanks for pointing that out. My bad. Let's see, what do I have back here? I've got some 220 back here. Storage area. Let's see if this is going to be enough. I think the problem is that it's so thin that it's just bending on me rather than actually sanding. So what I might end up having to do if this doesn't work is going to a slightly thicker styrene, but I don't necessarily want to do that just because this is the right thickness for the blanking plate, so. Oh yeah, we're getting movement now. I think it's, I can smell the plastic. We're getting somewhere now. I'm just trying to go nice and slow so that I don't ruin anything. Ron Burgundy Jazz Flute, yep. Whoa! Well, good news, bad news. The good news, the bad news, it fell off the thing. The good news is I think I got it pretty darn round before it fell off. Cool. I think I got to clean up the edges a little bit, but I think that's going to, yeah, that's going to work so darn well. Awesome. Thank you so much, Dennis, for suggesting this method. It seems to have worked well. Let me just get it all cleaned up as best I can here. Yeah, I'm pretty darn happy with how this is looking now. Like I said, just gotta get a couple of the edges kind of cleaned up a little bit. I think when it went flying off the disc, some of the edges got a little coarser than I would prefer them to be. Shake hands with nature. Okay. Yeah, I'm very, very happy with how that turned out. That is excellent. Very cool. All right, so yeah, let's get this sucker secured on, and then we're good to go in that regard. Let's see, where's my plastruct? Here we go. Let's see, what do I have up here for a junky brush? This will probably work. Holy cow. So, long story that ties back to trains. Well, it starts with trains, ends with trains. Over the weekend, I did a little bit of mildew abatement in the basement. It turns out I think I've had an issue for I don't know how long, with mildew down here that I just noticed. So I spent part of the weekend doing a little bit to resolve those issues, using some hydrogen peroxide. And with that hydrogen peroxide smell in the air, I've had the basement window open more than I normally do, and I have heard so many trains go by tonight. That's cool, Dennis. Okay, I think I am very happy with that blanking plate. That is fantastic. Awesome. So you know, now the other thing I do need to figure out actually before I get into paint is if the long hood end of this locomotive also has no class lights. I know the nose doesn't, but I'm not sure. Yeah, so anyway, about the mildew abatement, we invested in a new higher powered dehumidifier for the basement, so that hopefully that'll help as well. And then now it's just about, you know, getting this mildew, or not the mildew smell. Honestly, there was never really a mildew smell. But it's about getting the hydrogen peroxide smell out of the air. All right, let me see if I can quickly pull up a long hood photo of Finger Lakes 1703. Oh, beautiful. Okay, so the long hood does have the housings still. It doesn't have the lenses, so that means I've got a little bit of work to do, but not nearly as much. Just kind of comparing the two ends, making sure everything looks good. Pretty straightforward. All the grills are all the same. I've got to order this bell. I think I'm gonna get that off Wallace Locomotive Works. Got to get plows as well. And then I think I've got enough MU clusters on hand that I don't need to order those, but I will if I need to. But anyway, let's get the lenses off. It's crazy, you know, guys. If you would have told, like, 2016 Paul, you know, junior in college, really starting to get into model railroading, that I'd be working on this many, like, custom paint projects, I don't think I would have believed you. I don't know that I would have believed in myself as a modeler enough at that point to be just casually taking on custom painted locomotives left and right. But gosh, have I gotten so much enjoyment out of this side of the hobby in the last year or two. I mean, I've got now 2 fully custom painted Finger Lakes locomotives. I've got the first freelance locomotive done. This will be my 4th custom painted locomotive, and then I've got 3 more freelance locomotives to do when this is done, which is kind of crazy. So, man, kind of crazy to think about how much I've grown as a modeler, and I hope, as I say a lot, that by doing these live streams and doing all the videos that I do, that I've also inspired a lot of other modelers to take on challenges that you wouldn't have previously and learn something, because that's what this hobby's good for. Hey, Milwaukee area rail fan, welcome in. We are actually working on what is technically a former Milwaukee Road GP9. Finger Lakes 1703 is the locomotive project that we're working on right now, and that was originally a Milwaukee Road unit, which is kind of cool. Lots of ties to the Milwaukee Road on the Finger Lakes property. We've got a GP38 that was originally a Milwaukee Road unit as well, which was a completely separate purchase. So interesting stuff there for sure. Okay, let me hit this with some 600 grit real quick, and then some 2000, and then we'll call this part of the project good. Yeah, absolutely. There's always something new in the hobby to try. You know, this whole freelance, or the whole free mo project has been just a brand new challenge for me with all of the in-depth wiring that I've been doing. And, you know, as I've been doing it, I've been learning more about that side of things and wanting to take on more. There's so much more on that Fremo side that's really, really cool, that someday I hope to take on bigger projects, including like MSS signaling and that sort of thing, which is pretty darn cool stuff. What was the other thing? Oh, one of the other things I've been meaning to talk to you guys about is the Sydney Fremo meet, because I had a blast down there. Brandon put on a great event that I'm definitely looking forward to going back to again next year. Fun thing though, when I got my modules all set up and plugged in everything, track power turned on great, no problems there. But when I went to go test my accessories, I found out very quickly in that they didn't work, that unfortunately I had wired them all up for DC power, and the accessory bus on a Fremo layout is AC. So that meant that I needed to buy some DCs to AC converters, which I've now purchased. They're only like $3 a piece, so pretty cheap. Not a big financial investment. But I've got those on hand now, and I need to get those converted. Thankfully, I was able to get a temporary solution down there in Sydney so that everything could still run. But it was a difficult realization to come to when you're already at the meet and ready to go, for sure. And of course, in addition to that, I had just released my How to Wire a Fremo module Part 2, which covered the accessory bus and tortoises. So I quickly, as soon as I realized that, took the video down, and I just need to add a little scene to the video showing me installing the DC to AC converter, or the AC to DC converter. Yeah, I should come up with a clever name for those. But I've just got to film a quick segment about that, and then I'll re-upload that Part 2 video. It's just a matter of getting the time to do that. I do have a hard deadline. I'm committed to bringing my Fremo modules up to the Northeast Region Convention the second weekend in September, so I've got to make sure I've got them done by then. But for right now, I'm enjoying some awesome workbench projects and getting a little bit of work done on the layout, the main layout itself, because boy, that's been sorely lacking. I've been needing to focus on the main layout for a really long time, and I haven't. So there's going to be some focus on that throughout the next couple of weeks, and then we'll circle back to those Fremo modules before going up to Concord for the Northeast Region Convention. But yeah, it was a great show down there in Sydney, and Brandon, I've said it already multiple times, but really appreciate you putting that show on, or that event on, the Sydney Shakedown Cruise, as we took to calling it, because there were so many new modules there. And it really is the perfect place to do that. It's the perfect place for new modules to come and get battle tested prior to any of these bigger shows where there's public involved and that sort of thing, like Syracuse, like the NER convention, like Amherst. You know, it's a perfect place where it's just Fremo guys in there, experienced, ready to help you out with any problems that you had. It's really awesome. I also had a bit of an issue with one turnout sticking that we got troubleshooted while we were there. It was really awesome to be able to do that. So Scott, the accessory bus is AC because apparently that travels longer distances more efficiently. So they want you to just convert it to DC power at your module for any accessory that does take it. And apparently it also needs to be AC so that they can run DCC through it for stuff like LCC and stuff like that. At least that's my understanding. Yeah, Ray. Sydney, New York is where the event was, which is northeast of Binghamton. But not to be confused with Sydney, Australia. It was not at 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney. Yeah, it was an absolutely blast of an event. And I'll tell you, for anybody else that's interested in coming to Sydney next year, it's a small town, you know, similar to where I live and have grown up. You know, lodging accommodations, there's a couple of places nearby, which is great. But the crazy thing about Sydney is, for as small of a town as it is, holy cow, is there just so many amazing places to get food. I went to a German restaurant. I went to a pretty decent pizza shop. We went to a kind of cider place for dinner the first night and got a really good cider, hard cider. But boy, Sydney's a great little food town, which for me, you know, having a love of food, that sometimes even gets me in trouble. It's a good town to be in for sure. So yeah, keep an eye out next year if you're building Fremo modules or have Fremo modules, because Sydney is a place to go. There's plenty more room in that building for more modules, as long as there's more curves and junctions involved as well. So yep. But anyway, guys, I think that's where we're going to end things tonight. I appreciate you tuning in. We made some pretty good steps towards getting this Finger Lakes 1703 done. I'm not sure how much I'll get done before we stream again next, but this is likely going to be a primarily streamed project. So I'll try to see what I can do about getting it. I don't know if I'll be able to get it painted before the next stream. We may end up, to be honest with you, may end up sitting in this exact condition until next stream, at which point we can do a little bit of detail work prior to getting it painted. So, but yeah, anyway, guys, Dennis has a brand new video at 9 p.m. If anybody wants to link that, Garrett, I'm assuming you're probably ready and rip-roaring to go. But be sure to tune into that. The second section, guys, are presumably already going, so I'm going to hop in there until Dennis's video premieres, and then after Dennis's video premieres, I'll probably hop back over there as well. So I'll see you guys over there in that chat. I'll see you at Dennis's video premiere, wherever you happen to be. So take care, guys. I will see you, I think Labor Day is going to be my next stream, so I'll see you then. In the meantime, keep an eye out. There's going to be probably some videos in the meantime, so be on the lookout for those, and we'll see you.